Hi, I'm just here today to kind of give some examples of why UTPA works, United Through Positive Action. Um, Most of the times it works is when people don't even notice it. I could list just thousands of examples of times that I've experienced when it's worked in other people's lives, and it's had an effect on them. Um, One time was actually just the other day. Um, one of my friends didn't have the money to buy lunch, and I didn't have the money to spare to buy an extra lunch. Um, so she directly asked me for my lunch, and I could have taken it negatively and been like, "No way, get your own lunch" or something like that. Um, but as I adopted this view that I should, take positive action in people's lives, regardless of what I may think, I just gave her my lunch because it doesn't mean that much to me. It's just food. Um, I wasn't starving. I still have money to buy more lunch if I really do need it. Um, but, I felt that, she might not have the money to buy lunch. So I gave her my lunch, and everyone else that was sitting around me looked and saw that, and it changed the way that they viewed the world. And, now they all treat each other that way at that table. um, so the small things that you can do in someone's life, the small things that you can do to help someone, have an effect on them. And I'm gonna go even further, and let me think. There's this one time I was a little kid, and this I went to have my pictures taken at Walmart. They used to do that, and my mother met one of her friends there at Walmart, and he had like a lollipop, like the just a lollipop, and that was it. And I had one from the pictures. They gave me one for being still and taking a good picture and whatnot. And what happened was he walked up to me and he said, "Could I have your lollipop?" He didn't give any reason. He just asked me. So I'm like, "Yeah, sure, have my lollipop." Like a little kid, I was just like, "Here, take it." But that's what I was thinking. Um, and he smiled, he took it, and then he gave me his and mine back. Um, so he didn't expect me to give it to him. He was kidding with me, but I gave it to him, and so I had a positive effect on his life. And he decided to do something twice as generous in return. So, see, doing positive things for people actually has an effect on them. One time, I was taken to this house, and it was like in the middle of a trailer trash neighborhood, and it was probably the only standing house in that area. It wasn't a trailer; it was a house, and it was dirt. There was no grass, and it was just fenced in and whatnot. And there were three kids playing around in the lot. It was one girl who was really young and two older guys. Guys were about like 7 years old. The girl was probably 4. Um, I at the time was like 5 or 6, and I see it, and they were throwing dirt clots at her. And I didn't really see that as playing. The parents thought otherwise. They're just like, oh, they're playing, but I saw it as something actually happening that wasn't like that. Kind of like bullies and whatnot. So I step over next to her. She had hid in the corner of the fence lot, behind a bush so that they wouldn't hit her because she's wearing a dress. Um, so I pick up dirt clots and I start throwing them at the two guys. I mean, I could have just ignored all of them and just walked inside with my mother, but I didn't. I actually, I did something. 5 seconds of my time. I I played baseball several years after that, and I still have a strong pitching arm. I can throw a baseball 45 miles an hour and hit it directly on the dot, right in the center, wherever I pitch. So, needless to say, they just stopped. They left her alone, and she went up to me and she said, "Thank you so much." And this little girl, she was thankful. I mean, it had an effect on her life. It brightened her entire day for me to just play with her and be on her side or whatever. Um, it has an effect on people to do those kinds of things. And regardless of whether or not we may see it or see what happens afterwards, um, I totally support UTPA because that is exactly what it asks of us. Um, Recently, I guess I've kind of become like a mentor to people because I do this. Um, they just ask me for advice, and um, there's no better way to give your opinion on things than to do nice things for people because eventually someone's going to need your help and they're going to come to you because they know you will help them. So you can also do that if you wish. It doesn't really matter to me. It's not about opinions. It's about doing nice things for people. One time, a little girl, I was on Facebook, a little girl starts to chat with me, and I hadn't really ever talked to her. I just kind of knew her by association. Like I saw her around, and I was her friend and whatnot. Um, and she says, I'm gonna kill myself. And uh, I could have just treated her like everyone else treated her, because other people told me, don't worry about it. She's just kidding. She's not gonna do anything. Um, I could have just treated her like she's just kidding, and just treated it like a joke. But it takes only about 5 seconds to change someone's lives, and that's by showing them that you do care. By going out and making a difference and not saying, oh, she's just kidding. Because you know what? She might not be kidding. And that's reality. That's the way the world is. If you treat other people like a joke, they're going to treat you like a joke. You got to care about people. And it only takes 5 seconds. It took me about 5 minutes to say, hey, look, there's no need to do that. There's no need to talk like that. And she just got offline all of a sudden, and I was like, man, I don't know what to do. So I called the cops. The cops went over to her house, brought attention to it, and she's doing much better now. And, none of that would have happened. She might be dead. I mean, no one can say that she wouldn't have killed herself. That is an unfair statement. So I potentially saved her life. And it took 5 seconds of my time. And it literally did not cost me a thing. The only thing that it interrupted in my life was me playing Black Ops on my TV. And, let's face it, when it comes down to it, what are we willing to give up for other people? A few dimes, Are we even willing to give up 5 minutes of a video game for someone else's life? People say that a human life is priceless. People say that everyone should be treated equally. People say that there should be no killing, no war, peace everywhere. Well, when are we going to start doing that? Because it only took 5 seconds of my time to save someone's life physically. I wasn't fighting a war. She was. In her life, there was a war. In in the literary world, you'd call it a person versus himself. Um, some people are having conflicts that we don't even know about because we ignore them. If we take 5 seconds of our day to look and to actually see that people have problems, then maybe we can make a difference. And that's why I am united through positive action with everyone else who does that. Because if I don't do it, and no one starts doing positive things in this world, nothing will ever change. Martin Luther King Jr. did it. All of the famous people in history did it, who made a change. Abraham Lincoln did that. He wanted to preserve the Union. That's why. There are tons of people in history. Gandhi. Gandhi did that exact same thing. And to say, to look at this video and say, well, you know, it's just too much of a hassle for me. $2 brightened everyone's day at a lunch table, changed their entire outlook on how to help people. You know, 5 seconds of my time saved someone's life. I don't value video games that much. I don't put a $60 video game over someone else's life. And I don't know about you, but I do want to make a difference, and I do want to see this world change. And I have to be the change that I want to see in the world. And the only way to do that is through action. And negative action will get no one anywhere. It's only going to cause war and cause problems. People say brute force solves problems. It may solve the problem, but it creates other problems of a different nature that are just as bad. That's why racism caused so many problems. Uh, you know, Hitler did the same thing. He wanted to change the world. He changed it in a negative way. Look at what happened. Nothing good came of that. I want to change the world in a positive way, and I do want to make a difference. And I think that UTPA is a great way to do this.